Hello everyone, I'm Brian Croy Dragon, and welcome back to Choice of the Petal Throne. Chapter 4, Victory. The conquered city of Sangmyr, summer of 2365 AS. Somewhere in Sangmyr, a clan house is burning. The smell of smoke wafting down the deserted streets. Your serum has been ordered to sweep through this high clan neighborhood, scouting for pockets of resistance before convening at the governor's palace. A plum assignment given in honor of your pivotal role in the town's capture. While other units now prepare to take up the defense of the walls, yours is presented with a first pick at the spoils. My soldiers deserve some loot, but I won't tolerate harsh treatment of our countrymen. The Soliani are nothing if not orderly, and you find that little more is required to make suitable remuneration. Let's see, how is it? Remuneration or remuneration? Remuneration, that's it. To make suitable remuneration, appear than to march your serum to the gates of a clan compound and demand Shampla in the name of your august general, with the implicit threat of breaking down said gate if displeased. Sayi is in high spirits, joking with her fellow soldiers, a belt of forfeited gems twisted about her waist. Oh, this is a long one. The sun rises the next morning over an occupied and secure Sangmyr. The battle having been won, an army of bureaucrats is let loose upon the city to manage suits and countersuits, criminal fines, shamsla, and inducements. You stand in the square wearing your full legionary finery and rank with other officers signaled for special singled out for special honors. You see the sun glint off the burnished golden epaulets of Dritlan the Roman, as he kneels before the general to receive an Engsvanali edition of the works of Hirkulmeshmeru the dwarf, to the massed legions repeated roar of Otulengba, all hail! The woman returns to stand before the legion as puffed up as a bird in its mating dance, eyes shining brightly, fingers caressing the leather scroll case lovingly. As you watch him, you hear your name called out and step forward. General Bashurin Hai Samirin and General Dejaya Hai Kavaluma stand side by side like mighty Karakan and his handmaiden Katha. Though you suspect Dejaya Hekavuluma might duel anyone who called her a handmaiden, godly or no. They gaze down on your kneeling form and beckon a servant to come forward, carrying a sword. Your decisiveness and leadership has helped bring us victory. I give you this fine steel sword, not just a fitting reward, but also that you may defend yourself in duels upon the battlefield, and hope that the Legion of the Ruby Hand will have your service for years to come. As your general finishes, and the sword is placed in your hand, Dejaya Hai Kavuluma raises her voice. My Kasai Narun, who shall himself be kneeling before us in honor, has told me how his serum, the mighty anvil upon which the scales of brown Brokler might was spared the full force of their wrath by the timely intervention of your brave soldiers. The armies of Solyanu have only stood as brothers. It lightens my heart in days when so many in power have forgotten this, to see that some still remember and fulfill that bond. Her eyes ray you as she gives this speech, and though her words are of praise, her gaze is piercing. The same cries of Oto Langba that greeted the dread land now wash over you. I bow my head in solemn silence and return to my place. Hole in my sock. Once you have returned to the ranks, the awards continue. Kasai Narun is awarded a steel gorget for the pivotal role of his serum in forestalling the enemy advance, and others are presented with signaled declarations and scrolls honoring their deeds in extravagant prose to be mailed back to their clan houses and displayed proudly upon the walls by doting parents and spouses. When all official business is completed, you are dismissed by Petal. Words. Again. Word has come down to the officers that the Legion of the Ruby Hand is to garrison the town in shifts, rotating out the soldiers to relax, while the Blue Peak clears out the undead from the catacombs beneath the Temple of Sarku. Again. While the Blue Peak clears out the undead from the catacombs beneath the Temple of Sarku. Given the danger of the task, and because the undead won't venture above ground without the priests to command them, it is an odd choice. Normally you would leave a serum or two behind to hold the town and begin the long march to the next front. Normally you would never have taken Singmire in the first place. You try to put these concerns from your mind. The generals will confide in you when they see fit and not before. You find yourself on liberty, but with a Herexa to mourn. When your fellow officers adjourn to wine houses, you turn toward the battlefield and the yellow tents manned by the priesthood of Belkhanu. Her body is bloodless and pale. Flies swarm desultorily around her slashed throat in the heat. You are told she was found this way, likely killed by some dishonorable guard in the enemy's rout. They have dressed Rihanna in her Herexa's uniform and laid her out in ranks with her fellow soldiers beneath a tent, around which glide priests, clad in yellow from head to toe. Their robes and head coverings flutter in the light breeze like ghosts. One wafts to you and bows with grace. Have you come to pay respects, to make sacrifices? So many await our ministrations and the rites of the Lord of the excellent dead. He sighs, motioning at the woes of the fallen. Summer is a bad time for dead bodies, and we have fewer hands than we'd like for the work. But I assure you that each of these brave souls will be ushered with due ceremony into the plains. They died to drive off the Worm Lord's priests, after all. You notice the lack of ornamentation upon the robes and realize this must be a priest of the third circle, possibly lower. A small town, Singmar's Temple of Belkhanu, may be little more than a shrine maintained by a handful of priests and priestesses. That would have been before the inevitable purges of the undead occupation. I wish you ever embalmed and sent back to her clan. The acolyte nods thoughtfully. We have the necessary supplies. It is time that is the limiting factor. We could have her return to Jakala in beauty and panoply for interment in her clan's tomb, if a worthy offering were made to the god on her behalf. Yes, here is your money. You return the next day to find the flies gone, her skin oiled and gleaming with the colour of rich earth, and her scent transmuted to one of sandalwood and myrrh. Face smooth of ferocity and stubbornness, with her richly dressed body laid on a bier of cloth and flowers. Herexa Rayana looks truly young, like a favoured child going for sacrifice. You place upon her chest the calligraphied scroll honouring her deeds given to you by the generals, and fold her hands upon it. More tea? A pastry? The elderly auntie in her best finery bends to pour for you herself, shushing away the waiting servant. It appears that membership in the conquering army does wonders for one's status with the local sea blue clan house. And how are your mullers? Hale is my second cousin, you know. By which she means we have ties of blood. You don't want mine on your hands. You have been invited to the local house of your clan for a third time since Singmire fell. And this time you can't help but feel that everyone is laying it all on a bit thick. From the servants will place a flatteringly high stack of cushions for you to sit upon, to the young attractive women in suspiciously fine attire hanging on your every word. As you sip from your cup, the auntie's stream of chatter takes on a louder tone. And this is why we need you to make these treason charges disappear. You sputter and cough, teeth sloshing. Damn the woman. You know she waited until just this moment to drop her statement like a lead right into a pond. All the eyes in the room are looking at you expectantly. Shem is a good boy and loyal as the day is long. His fathers worked so hard to get him that post in the governor's palace, and now it is his downfall. Can you imagine their grief? You realize she's going to just keep talking while their eyes bore into you, unless you say something. It's my family, of course I will help. You hold up your hand to stop the flow of words, and promise to come to your cousin's aid. Your assurances of help are met with weeping and a few embraces, and followed by a lavish feast at which you are honored. The station is suddenly elevated by reasonableness. You realize by your connection to the military occupation, and your relatives, one and all, are moving to shelter beneath your arms. The next morning, head pounding, after an abundance of rich food and fine spirits, you are left with the problem of just how to free your cousin. It seems clearer from the scuttlebutt that the governor and his retinue have combined no particular wrong, and are being offered up to assuage the anger of soldiers and priests resentful of a long and costly siege before the anger spills over into the streets. Of course, every day, this one again with the correct word. Of course, every clan with a member doomed to die on the impaler stake, as part of this cathartic sacrifice, will find a Kasai or Dritland to plead their case. And while a few won't succeed, most will not. What's your plan? Surrounded as you are in a haze of glory, it is a simple matter to get an appointment with General Bashun has Samarin's personal Dretlan. There must have been a mistake, she says after hearing you out. Of course, no one could expect a relative of yours to be a collaborator, and so on. Still, she taps her front teeth with her starless. He has amassed quite a bundle of legal fees that must be paid before his release. You remember that she has a reason to hate her fellow Dritlander woman. Technically, she outranks him by virtue of her close position to the general. But his clan is one of higher status, and the two of them often jockey for position. She sees gouging you as a way to take minor revenge upon your superior. You frown artfully. You and I know such fees are levied at the discretion of the general staff. You hold up your hand to forestall her indignant protest. It's no Roman, isn't it? Placing this block in my way. He's better over my share of glory, and has been putting these blocks in my path since the victory. Here you insert a dramatic sigh. I know you have General Bashun Hassamarin's ear. Surely you can override him? There's a steely glint in her eye as she scratches off lines on her document. Of course, Kasai. Anything for the hero of the hour? That's 2 achievements. Now to the clan and family first. The watery-eyed, frail specimen that is your cousin Shem is produced immediately, as he stands blinking in the light of the tent while forms are filled out. The contrast between you two is a bit comical. You've seen the Dritland's lip quirk as she casts sidelong glances she tries to hide. A year ago, Shem, a knobby skeleton lost in the panoply of his officer robes, would have represented the power and let's try that again. Would have represented the power in Singmire and the authority. Now the bureaucrats and priests have given way to the strong sun-darkened scarred warriors. He follows you home, where you present him like a trophy to his weeping, scolding mother. Your cousin stammers his way through the reunion, casting you looks of gratitude. The gratitude of the elders is more concrete, promising that word will be spread. And the next time you need help with a plum assignment or extraction from trouble, Sea Blue will be there for you. You also know that for the rest of your stay in Singmire, there will be at least one door that is always open for you, ready to supply any need or rem. In the night you are awakened by the wind rustling the flap of your tent. A scraping sound eerily similar to that of the assassin's sandals. To the assassin's sandals upon the temple stones months ago. You spring awake and see a figure silhouetted in the light from moon and stars. It was not the wind that woke you, another assassin. You grope for a weapon as the shadow moves closer, and you make out a familiar face. Who stands there? Kasai no Sayi. Sorry to startle you. It's a cold night. I didn't want to spend it alone. Come in. As she opens the flap wider, the moon shines in and a chill breeze blows through. Fall is coming. Good marching weather. Soon the generals will finish their business here and the army will be on the move again. You feel a hand upon your cheek. Come back to me, she whispers in your ear. Your thoughts are wandering. You turn and kiss her passionately. Both your attentions now riveted. To think after all these years we find ourselves back together. Sayi laughs. For tonight, let's just be Tayuni and rave. And them come wake us with a bucket of water to pry us out of our den. Her laugh is silvery, as if the gloss on her black hair. Let's try that again. As is the gloss on her black hair hanging loose in the moonlight. The only light in the temple vault is provided by a few torches. A steady drip of water under stone eminence in the darkness. We had a tough time clearing out these tombs. When you were securing the town above ground, Dejaya Hikaruluma's voice echoes off arches, but the job is done. Not a single undead left nor priest. Your general nods at her words and begins to walk forward, the torchbearers hurrying to keep him in the light. You are in the bounds of the Temple of Sarku, a surprisingly large section of the Surum underground, excavated beneath their small rural temple. The stone is old and pitted, the barrel vaults unadorned. It was probably a sewer once, or some granary buried by a past Detlana. Something functional, anyway. Your small troop walks through the ruins of the past with no explanation forthcoming from those who brought you here. Deference to rank combines with the dank gloom to dampen conversation among all but the two figures leading the way, who are deep in conversation with one another. The door is less ray. Even in the dim light, you can tell the passages are changing. The brick vaults are now adorned by mosaics and crenellation. In one vast room, the ceiling is supported by ranks of elaborately carved columns. And proceeding off into the darkness, Kasai Naroon steps up to one and runs his fingers reverently along it. Ingsvanyali, he whispers. It must be. Look at the capital and the seamlessness of the column itself. We still live in shadows of their greatness. What do you think this room was before the worm priests came to squat in its ruins? Of course, the circle of light does not pause for a lonely Kasai when generals are on the move, and continues to pull him along in its wake. He casts glances over each column you pass and is so distracted that he almost stumbles into the soldier before him. When your party comes to an abrupt halt before an open door. Its oily black wood hangs on heavy metal hinges, only lightly touched by rust. There's enough metal in them to make a fine stiletto or a gorget, and you're surprised no looter has pried them from the wall in the ages since this door was last used. General Bashun, Harry San Mirren, turns and dismisses the entourage, grabbing a torch. When their footsteps have faded, he turns to you. Beyond this door is the old city, and in it is the reason we've spent nearly half a year taking a fleet speck of a town deep within Dishun's territory. I'm sending you excavating, Kasai-chan. You'll be leading the mission. Let's run that again. I'm sending you excavating. Kasai-chan, you'll be leading the mission. The ingenuity you showed in the taking of the town makes you the perfect soldier for this kind of small unit tactical work. General Dejaya Hikaruluma, damn that name, turns to Kasai Naroon. As you must surmise, you are also being assigned to the mission. The lead being given to Kasai-chan is not a slight. It's simply because the signaler, she says, gesturing towards Sayi, is from his legion. I know you won't face the underworld with the same stolidity you showed against the scales of Brown to do our family proud. There's a heavy emphasis on the last words, and Nura looks away from her. She folds him into a hug. I give Nura a friendly nod. It's a fine point of seniority, and I hope we can consult on most matters. Nura mumbled something inaudible from his aunt's embrace, and General Bashun, his Samarin, continues where General Dejaya Haikaruluma left off. Do these two choreograph everything between them? Signaler, we've discussed your previous experience should serve you well as a guide. At your quizzical luck, Sayi snorts, I had a life when you were gone, you know. Somewhere down there lies a weapon of great value to our prince, whose scribes have pieced together little other than the briefest description of its nature and location. Some might call this a fool's errand, but there's a high potential of reward that more than compensates for the risk. There are other large teams that can follow if you fail, but we hope to accomplish this quickly, with minimal loss of life, and without word getting out. This becomes impossible, since once we send a larger force with Ray's soldiers gossip, Dejaya Hekuruluma snorts. For that matter, our movements are watched, and we, she gestures to her fellow general and herself, cannot be absent long without drawing notice. Signaler Hai Tenkolal has been briefed under cover of her other duties and will explain more. Say nothing. The general salutes as the rest of the party stands rather dumbstruck. They have left and shut the heavy door behind them, before any of the others have recovered from the brisk pace of events. Once Sayi seems chipper, she always did enjoy getting to tell other people what to do. You think uncharitably, still. There's clearly knowledge and power to be gained on this mission. You know that the depths of the temple and old civilizations lie beneath the earth, and the farther down you go, the more amazing things that can be found into the depths. That's all for today, everyone. I'm Brian Croydragon, signing out. Stay Shrey!